reimagined.
Hey, Crystal.
Hi.
How you doing? I'm sorry.
I
I don't have us recorded yet.
Oh, I love your house.
Huh?
You have a beautiful house.
I want a house like this someday. Yeah, I do.
Where are you at? Is that just the background?
It's a filter. Yeah, it's a filter.
Okay.
Thank you.
You fooled me.
Can you still hear me?
Mhm.
Okay.
So sorry. I thought I was running early and I didn't realize the time difference. Sorry about that.
Oh, well, I thought, well, maybe we didn't talk about it. Maybe I should have talked about it, but that's okay. But I actually was trying to get in touch with the other ladies, but I think maybe they got, busy. So I was saying that I was gonna probably just kind of go ahead and kind of do like a preview and go ahead and start until they get on. So
Okay.
I'm going to just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Is it okay if I have this in case I need
Oh,
to?
yeah. We're good. We're relaxing, chilling, and everything.
Okay.
So that's good. So let me put this on. All right. Hey, everyone live watching, or if you will watch the replay, just hashtag replay. I am live on the Stay True podcast, and this is part 1 of Let's Talk About Love. Are you ready? Relationship panel. We have some other guests that will be coming in, but right now we have a guest who is an advocate for domestic violence, and she's definitely her name is Crystal. She's definitely gonna share her story. We're gonna chime in and give you guys the opportunity to ask questions or whatnot. And so we're just gonna be talking about different types of relationships. We're gonna be talking about dating as a single mom and, are we really ready for love? Are we really ready for marriage? The do's and the don'ts and those type of things. So Crystal, I'm gonna have you go ahead and share to the audience a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay. So thank you for having me on the show, laryngitis and all. So I'm so sorry about that. I'm getting over COVID. But like you said, I am a single mom. I'm an advocate for victims of domestic violence. I have been for over 20 years, and I'm a survivor of domestic violence myself. So in my advocacy, pardon me, in my advocacy, I bring a lot of empathy and compassion, but also I bring a lot of my real life story of perseverance. And as far as the relevancy of dating and relationships for myself, I know that I have just really found the passion in helping other people as I help myself through the transformation of having a relationship with myself first.
Yes.
Especially as a single mom, my priority is my family, my son, and my priority is also my career. I love my career. I support defense contracts for the United States military. So I work in aerospace and engineering.
Awesome.
And so I work firsthand with those who sacrifice their freedom so that we can make sure that we have ours. And so I'm very passionate about that, but it takes a lot of me out of me. And I love my career because it allows me to provide a quality life for myself and my son. But as women, especially too, I think we get so driven and so geared to give to those that we love, and we forget about ourselves. And so I know that's a topic that a lot of people talk about, but I also, I'm starting a book tour next month for my first book. Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Yay.
Really, I got a lot of encouragement to publish the book, but really I was writing the book as a workbook for
Mm.
myself. And so I shared my own workbook with a friend, and they said, you should really publish that for other women. And I'm like, you really think
Yeah.
so? Because I really wrote it for myself. And so I'm excited to release that as part of my advocacy. I've been divorced for 4 years, and
Mm.
and Karen, it's a scary world to
Yeah.
re-enter, because I haven't been in the dating world for, I don't know, like maybe 15 years. A,
Wow.
a lot has changed since then.
Yeah.
For myself, I really feel like if I have a foothold of a relationship with myself first, and understanding how to give myself grace, that I'm not
Yes.
perfect. I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm in progress, and
Right.
allowing other people that grace as well, but also understanding that I don't have to tolerate an unhealthy environment, and
Yes.
how to set those healthy boundaries in
Mhm.
relationships with other people, whether it be dating or whatever. And I don't think that I've ever had either the confidence or the consciousness to do that before. And
Yeah.
so I really enjoy talking to other women about these topics. So I really appreciate you having me on your podcast.
Yeah, I'm very, very honored. I'm so glad that, we connected and I met you because as we had discussed earlier, you know, as a single woman too as well, and being off and on in the dating world, like you said, Crystal, how crazy it can get. But like you said, it's different. Maybe, I mean, it's probably different for me because I've never been married. You have.
Mhm.
And, I don't know, to me, 4 years or 5 years seems like 15 years, like you said. I don't know, but it's like now I'm open to put myself out there, but I just know the do's and don'ts, and I know the boundaries that, we have to put up. Before, when we was in different seasons, we didn't really, we just wanted to be with somebody, and we just wanted to like somebody, wanted somebody like us. But then it's the fact of opening up your eyes and
Yeah.
saying, hey, I love me, and I know that there's somebody out there that's going to give me the love that I put out and everything. And so when I started the relationship series in 2013, like I told you, I had did a series on dating biblically, and then I did a session on, I wanted to know everybody's viewpoint, whether they was celibate or why were they not, were they keeping themselves or were they not keeping themselves, and why? Because people have reasons to
Right.
why they don't want to practice celibacy. So we talked about that, and I was like, let's just talk about, keep this going about relationships, love. There's a lot of things that we don't know that we need to know. We want to hear other people's stories and perspectives, as even being married, being divorced, still being single. There's a lot of people in the background that we don't even know that really need to hear it.
Right. Right. And you're right. I love to hear other, not just women, but other people's perspectives, why they choose to do what they do. And I really, with no judgment, no judgment. It's really to
Right.
listen, to learn. And I think I'm in that season of my life too, that maybe I haven't been before. I was really set on what I thought was right, and now I understand more that everybody has a place they come from,
Right.
and their own journey and their own reasons why they do what they do, and to really connect instead of judge, to really form those connections that are mutually beneficial. So it's great. I'm at the place in my life where I've had more female relationships than I've ever had in my life. Growing up, for me, it was hard to develop really quality female relationships. And
Yeah.
now it's, as a single mom and other single moms, and it's to really glean and lean on each other.
Yes.
That's been very, very powerful. And so I like to see women like you really make it a mission and a vision to reach out and try to be that encouragement to other people.
Yeah. Thank you, Crystal. Yeah, because we need that.
Yes, me too.
There was a time where, we were trying to compete. There was a time where, oh, well, they doing this, so I'm not going to do that. Well, why sometimes can't we just come together and share each other's opinions, advice, tips? There may be some things that I don't know about you. There may be some things that you don't know about me, and just work together. So I have seen in, this season and, even the last couple of seasons, how women has been collaborating together as far as business, and then business turns into friendship. It turns into a real genuine friendship. So, friendships are a part of course, is relationships too. And that's just like in any type of relationship, you having to develop that friendship and finding out, is the relationship going to be toxic for me, or is the relationship not going to be toxic? But a lot of us are scared to go through that because we don't want to we don't want to feel the pain. We don't want to feel the negative vibes or whatever, but that's life. So we got to go through that to find out, okay, if this person is really not meant to be in my corner for this season, it's okay. But sometimes we feel like it's the end of the world,
Right,
you
right.
know? So.
And you could always learn from every interaction. It doesn't always have to be a lifetime, relationship to get something good from it. But let me ask you a question. Do you think that, because I know for me, my idea for dating isn't really long-term relationship first. It's really build a friendship. Not a lot of people are interested in that, but I feel like that's where I want it to start. And at the
Yeah.
very least, you have a friend if it doesn't go anywhere. But people are like, no, I got plenty of friends. I'm like, do you find that that's been an obstacle for me, re-entering it? And
Yeah,
people,
I agree, Crystal. For me, it's like, I do think long term, but I'm like you, Crystal. Can we develop a friendship first? Because I want to be able to go to you. I want to be able to talk about things that I can't go talk to anybody else about. I want to make sure that the trust in our friendship is when we tell each other something, it's not going to go anywhere. That's a real friendship where I'm telling you things that are detrimental, what I'm saying, to my heart. And you're gonna know how I'm gonna act if I get mad and stuff like that. And you're right. People want to just skip that part. Well, I don't just want a friend. Well, then if you do not do that, and then how are you gonna know something about me? How are you gonna know me genuinely from the inside out if we don't develop a friendship? If we
yeah,
can't, yeah, you see what I'm saying? So I agree with you. Can we develop a friendship?
right. Because if you don't, then you're just dating someone's representative. You're not
Right.
dating that person.
Right.
You're dating their representative. You're not really going to see them until about the third, fourth, fifth month. And then
Right.
you find out you don't even like that person. But
Exactly. You got to go through you got to go through, those steps in the trial basically be like, okay, well, if we can't get along, what I'm saying, as a friend, and then how we're going to be in a long-term relationship and then eventually get married, if it's just like, oh, if I walk and run out all the time that we're having a serious conversation, and then that means I'm not going to be I'm not ready if I want to run out every time you tell me something I don't want to hear, because that's something I had to learn. I had to learn to exercise and accept creative criticism. And I'll be like, well, um, um, I don't care, or that's not me. And then on the other side, you think about it and you get to yourself, you be like, well, they were right. And then you got to go back and you got to apologize, and you got to be like, okay, well then maybe this is something I need to work in. I need to work on myself as far as accepting creative criticism.
yes, I think, yeah, and I think a friendship is somebody being able to tell you something you may not always want to hear, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the truth. And having that trust with someone that you can deliver and receive the truth. And I think that's really underrated today in
It
dating.
is. It definitely is. It definitely is. So, Krista, let's talk about, you know, how you found love before the divorce. Um, what were some things that made you draw to this person, and how did y'all meet?
Well, I work a lot. So if I'm gonna meet somebody, back then, because now I work from home, but then in an office, I worked in a place that had 5,000 or 6,000 people. So I met him at work.
Mhm.
And so you automatically have that in common, I guess, that the whole work gripes, the work environment, things like that. And
Mhm.
really, I came from kind of a rough background, a rough childhood. And what drew me to him is that he was the opposite of everything that I grew up with. Like, I grew up and we didn't have a lot of money. We grew up in
Mhm.
not a great neighborhood. I grew up from a family that like only a few of us went to college, much less graduated high school.
Okay.
So what drew me to him is, and my parents were divorced. His parents were married. I worked 3 jobs and put myself through college. His parents provided him that education. I had an old hoopty going to college, an old car. He had a new car. He had means, I didn't.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So he was everything that on paper I felt like he should be.
Mhm.
And so that's what drew me. But later on, I realized that when you don't have strife and you don't have obstacles and you don't have challenges, and life is, quote, easier, when
Mhm.
things do go wrong, you have no frame of reference to pick yourself up from. And me,
Right.
if I get knocked down, it's nothing new. I've been there before and I've been through worse, and I will be okay, So I have
Right.
that frame of reference of overcoming. And so that's one thing I learned, is that it's great if, you want to be drawn to somebody who has that strong family unit. There's nothing wrong with that. The
Right.
parents that have been married 25 years, you come from a stable home. Life has not been stressful for you. That's great. That's what I want for my child. Um,
Exactly.
but but um, I didn't mean to diminish my own background and my own worth, and that what I came from had value in who I became from it. It wasn't something bad. It wasn't something to be ashamed of, or it wasn't something to look down on. I am who I am because of what I overcame. And my
That's right.
strength comes from part of that. And I need to value that in myself and put a purpose to that pain. So that's why I write books. I educate. I do things like that, and it's for a purpose, so that
Yes.
it gives that pain value and something powerful that came from that. And so that's what drew me to was somebody the opposite of me, but had a lot of similarities in hobbies and interests. So on paper, it seemed like it should have gone really well, but
Yeah.
when push
Yeah.
comes to shove, you got to know that person is going to not break, and um, that we all have our story, and that divorce and was hard for both of us. But through that pain, I was able to transform and become better. And I
Yeah.
feel like my ex-husband, we are actually friends. We co-parent well, and that
Good. Good.
hardship is part of his story too, that he's overcome. And so we thankfully both came out of it in a better place through
Mhm.
that hardship, and we're able to co-parent our son in a very positive way, even though
That's
we're not
good.
together. So, but it was hard, girl. It was hard getting here. It was
Mm.
hard building that friendship back. But,
Yeah.
back to what we were talking about earlier, had we not started on the foundation of friendship, we would have nothing to go back to.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah,
So,
and I definitely agree with that. Like if you hadn't never developed a friendship, you both would have pretty much, resented each other, and it's like wouldn't even be able to talk because of y'all child together or anything like that. It would just be a mess. But the fact that you still had developed that friendship and like, okay, we know this is not going to work out, but we still gotta be here, for our child. That's
right,
like you said, that's what the friendship is for, you
right.
know. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how long has it been since? you all been, has it been 15 years since you all been separated or less?
No, we got divorced in 2018.
Okay.
So we started dating, I guess it was 2007, 2008. What is that? 10,
Like
14,
about 12 years, about
12 years.
years. Yeah.
Something like that. So around that time.
Okay.
But you know, I've never been much of a dater. I've never have. I've always
I
gotten
don't
into
like
it.
it either.
I've never have. I've just, you know, found my person and stuck with them for years. I just never dated around. So this new, I'm in my mid 40s now. This whole
Yeah.
new chapter. So I've dated myself. I've dated myself for a while, and uh, I have enjoyed that. I bought
Yeah.
myself gifts. Apparently, I have good taste in my gifts, and I buy myself dinner. I'm my own company. So, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that for a while, you know?
No, it's not, because you're enjoying yourself and you're finding, it's like you find out a lot more about you, and you find out a lot more about what do you want going into the next season, or into the next dating relationship, or you're thinking long term, or what are some things that I need to continue to do, or what are some things that I need to stop doing. Like you say, you're just having fun with yourself and loving yourself and saying, hey, this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to go after. This is what I'm going to strive for. And dating is just kind of hard itself. It's something that we still have to do if we want to get to know someone, but it's just like a hard corporate application or something, because it's like, I know, Crystal, I'm gonna tell you something, Crystal. Like, people used to tell me, well, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And that's something that I used to do. If me and the person was compatible or whatever, I would continue. We got somebody else coming in, but that's fine. I would continue to talk to that person and get to know that person until I found out something was wrong. And I learned from that, which was a bit, and then I was like, oh, what they saying is
Well,
really
I've done
true.
that.
Huh?
So you diversify now, because I need to learn how to do that, because
Yeah, so it's like now meeting people, I'm like, oh, do you mean to tell me I'm okay with meeting more than one person? Hey, Rachel, thank you for joining. So, oh, I can't hear you. Your sound
You're
must be.
welcome. You're welcome. I was muted. Hello, girls.
Hey, hey, Rachel. We were just talking about. I was just talking about how they say don't put all your eggs in one basket, and I used to do that, and I used to just hold on and try to get to know that person, and then when something happened, it could be years. It could be 3 years. And I'm not talking to anybody else but that person. And I know when you're dating, you got to think long term, but it's okay to, well, I'm gonna say this, it's okay to explore and go out with different people, see who you can connect with, see who will be a potential date. Because when we say dating, I think that's the next step. That's the next step before your intent for marriage. Because if that's your purpose for dating, is the intent to get married. Dating is like, oh, I'm dating just this one person exclusive. And that's what I used to say. And they was like, no, you're going out to connect with different people to see who can be a potential match, and then you would date exclusively, meaning that you're just dating one person. And I got in a lot of trouble with trying to just, okay, I'm gonna just talk to this one person, and then when I'm seeing the red flags and stuff like that, it's like I still wouldn't talk to anybody else. But they was like, Karen, you're single, so you need to explore and get to know. And I've been okay lately. Like, I haven't dated in 4.5 years, but I'm okay doing it, now. And I can't believe that.
No, you just gave me a tip, because I do the same thing. But let me ask you, do you tell people? Are you like upfront about it, or do you just like let it ride? Do you tell people, hey, I'm seeing other people too? I mean, are you just upfront about it?
I say, hey, like, so when I'm talking, most of the time when I'm talking to somebody, they're like, oh, well, are you dating? And I'll say, I'm actually going out. I'll change it. I won't say that I'm dating, because I said, "Oh, you mean dating someone exclusively, just one person?" And they was like, "Yeah," and I'd be like, "No, I'm not dating. I'm single and I'm exploring my options." That's what I say.
Okay.
How about you, Rachel?
What do you do, Rachel?
I have been in pause for a long time, you know.
We was talking about that too.
And it's like I got to a point where I'm comfortable being single, just waiting, because it's supposed to be that I'm not supposed to be looking for,
Mhm.
the
Right.
one that would be assigned to me. He's supposed to find me, but we have to be out there to be seen, right? And to be found.
Exactly.
That's the thing. So I'm kind
True.
of trying to get out of that mode of being too comfortable in my singleness, because then I would not be found, because I'll be just be in my little bubble,
True.
cocoon.
That's
So
very true.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, that's true because Karen, I told you I work from home and I don't go out and I don't do anything. I mean, unless the one assigned to me is the Amazon delivery man, he ain't gonna find me.
Right.
And then it's like, for me, I would see a guy and I'd be like, "Oh, he's fine," But then I'd be all kind of things come to my mind. Is it worth giving him my time? Should I, stuff like that? It comes like, because we've been in relationships, dating, whatever, when we were younger.
Yeah.
And now we know a lot better than what we knew back then.
Right.
And I tend to not be negative on everything, but I'm looking for the flags. I'm
Right.
always on the lookout for those red flags.
Oh,
And that could be an hindrance,
mhm.
because I'm not giving the other party an opportunity to just, show themselves, because the flag will show anyway. We don't have to search deep for it. But I don't want to be like all lovey-dovey and then the flags show up and then I have to like, next, this didn't work. Let's try next. I got to a point where I got tired.
Yeah.
I got tired.
So where do you think that you say you're going to get out of your comfort zone? Like, how do you do that? Where do you have social groups or dating apps, or what's your tip for that?
But girl, I tried the dating apps for a while and it got so boring.
Yeah.
Because you have a whole bunch of guys liking your pictures, your profile, they try to communicate, and then they start talking foolishness or asking things, or it's like you're wasting my time. So I started to feel like those applications, they work for some people. I've heard some have even got married, found the love of their life. I'm happy for them, but I don't think it's something I really enjoy. You have to have the mindset of, whatever application you use, it's something that you really want to do.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like old days kind of girl. I'd rather the guy approach me. Well, now, because when I was younger, I used to approach him. If I like what I saw, I'm like, hey, I go straight up.
But you know what, Rachel, when you said that, the reason why I kind of made that face, because I was like that for the last 3.5 years. I was like, well, I'm just not going to say anything. They got to say something to me first. But then I had to realize, I said, well, why I can't, if I, have an interest in them, why I can't say anything? That don't mean I have to go too far. That don't mean I have to actually be like, I'm just really, really stalking you or something like that. But I guess showing up and saying, like, hey, you can say things like, hey, how you doing? And start a conversation about something. Because I used to, I was stuck in that for so long, and then like you said, you are always thinking that, oh well, what if something wrong, and then I'm gonna have to go through and start over again. But then I had to realize, like, this is an application. This is an application. And I have gotten on some dating apps, and some of them are the worst, some of them okay. A lot of people don't give you the right description or give you the right picture. Hey, you got a phone? let's FaceTime. Androids got FaceTime. Let me see if you're the real person on the picture.
Right.
And then you got people that are doing background, you do background checks and stuff like that. Now, but I hate that you have to do that now, but you have to do that.
Yes.
But I guess you just have to, think with a positive mindset and be like, okay, I'm gonna go into it knowing that, if this person is interested and willing to talk, I'm gonna go into it like me and Crystal was saying, was just a straight friendship. Let's see if we can build a friendship. If they don't call the next day, or well, if you're not answering my call for a couple of days, like, okay, you're not
Right.
interested. Bye. Because I'm not going to be chasing you
Like,
down. No.
X out of the list. X.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
Yeah.
if you tell people, if you're upfront and you tell, this is what I found anyway, if you're upfront and you tell people, I want to build a quality friendship first, that'll weed a lot of people out.
Oh, yeah.
It'll weed a lot
Yeah.
of people out because
Mhm.
they have a different mindset of what they're looking for, what pace they want
Yeah.
everything to go. And I'm not about that. Like it has to be an organic growth. You can't force it based on what you want, and I
Right.
can't. And so it's,
Mhm.
I mean, just being honest, I think weeds out a lot of people, and that's okay too. Like I think
Right.
the best thing for me is just to have zero expectation from it. I don't expect to gain anything from a dating app. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right. Right.
I agree.
It's a form of entertainment for me because some of these profiles make me laugh.
I know, right? Woo, they use a lot of filters too. It's not only females. They use filters a lot.
Oh, let me tell let me tell Rachel and Crystal, let me tell you about this. So I, was on a dating app, and you know how you put pictures on your profile. So the person, got my phone number or whatever. So I was like, hey, you have a picture or whatever, or you have FaceTime. He was like, I don't have FaceTime. So he sent me the picture. He was using filter pictures. And then he got the pictures off the dating app from a website. So he sent me like 3 different people.
What?
So I was just like, I said, why would you lie? I blocked him after. I said, why would you lie about who you were, knowing? I guess everybody may not ask you. I said, but I'm going to ask and I'm going to check. I said, you sent me 3 different pictures. But then when I looked at them real good, they were filters. Like filter pictures, like he was taking pictures from the website or something.
Wow.
I was like, is this wild or crazy or not? But I didn't let it. I guess I'm in a place now where I'm not discouraged as I used to be before. Just like, this is what we have to do. Keep going. Next.
Sift through all that mess. Sift it like you sift through all the mess that be out there. But if they, this is me. If you have to hide who you are, number one, you're not looking for a relationship, a stable relationship. Maybe you're looking for someone that, because I see you have a nice body, a lovely, handsome face, I'm going to be sending you pictures of me nude or anything like that. Because that's all I could think about. Because if you're looking or pursuing a relationship, there will be a day that we have to see each other.
Eventually, if I'm talking to you, we're going to meet somewhere up in a public area, right?
Right.
So why would you lie?
Right.
But don't y'all think that sometimes some things are just blocked on purpose anyway? Like they're just blocked on purpose, like, hey, red flag, no, this person. Sometimes when you're talking to people, you will even know if that person is even entertaining talking. Like sometimes we can't even entertain talking to people on the phone. I found that out too as well. And then a light bulb will come on and be like, no, I'm not going out to dinner, or I'm not going to the movies, or I'm not going bowling because something in my spirit is telling me something is not right. And then when it doesn't take that long to catch someone, and like, you can have a probably a 1-day conversation or a 2-day conversation with somebody and figure out if this person is really telling me the truth or not.
Right.
Yeah, and I have zero tolerance for lies. I won't tolerate it. Like some people will think, oh well, it's a white lie or it doesn't really matter. It matters to me. I don't even
Yeah.
tolerate it.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. And even the age range that I don't like anyone younger than me. I never did.
So
And it's
how
not
can
gonna happen.
will you go a year? Will you go 3 years younger?
No, it has to be older. It has to be
Okay.
older. Otherwise, we could be the same age, but it has to be like I feel in my spirit that that's a potential partner for me, right? Or maybe that's the one selected or God ordained for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if Rachel chooses, it will be 6+.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good to know what you know what you want. I have trouble with that because it's hard for me to go younger because a lot of younger men want someone to have kids with them.
You don't want any more kids, Crystal?
Well, no.
I do. I want one more.
Yeah, well, you only have one, girl.
I know, so I need a boy.
Yeah, you can get a boy. I got 3. I got enough.
I'm old. I'm of the age where I'm getting to where I can't reproduce as easy. I don't want to go through that.
Well, me too. But me too. I'm in my 40s now. I'm 41, but and I know they say it can be risky, but I'm still thinking, okay, I can still keep hoping. You know what I'm saying? If it's the Lord. If it's and they like, like your daughter is about to graduate like in 2.5 more years, you want to start all over again? I said, yeah, because I'm not going to be by myself again.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. I have 3. I'm good.
I did. Rachel and Chris was like, no, Karen.
I'm ready.
You go ahead.
I'm just ready to have fun, have good time, go out, know each other, have a good conversation, a good dinner, and see what happens.
You know what I have discovered is single divorced social groups that are national. Like that.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I was like, where has this been? I'm going to Jamaica next summer on a divorce singles,
Really?
Group. Okay. I thought, well, this is my time to shine right here. Like,
there you go, girl. That's it.
Okay. Look, take me.
Yeah.
I will share the link, and we can all 3 go. Now that people are traveling more, I think the pandemic has really touched home with a lot of people to, life is about the experiences and connection with other people and
right.
things. And more people are ready, I think, now to, travel more and get out of their comfort zone.
And you know what how they say, like, even though you have that desire, still enjoy yourself now in that moment, because there's a lot of things that it's not just going to be about you, it's going to be about, your spouse. Their feelings when something goes on, you can't go with them because your spouse is going to need you. It could be something detriment, but like, okay, well, I just can't go this time because I got to be with my husband. And so I get it where they're saying, enjoy building in your purpose, enjoy doing this. I know that it's your desire, but just don't focus solely on, well, when. And I know, some of us probably used to do that, I'm saying, before. And there will be times where we're like, well, I'm still waiting, but you don't have to just sit there and just wait. There's a lot of things, I'm saying that, people can do.
We are not promised tomorrow. So
that's right.
We need to enjoy the blessing of today. And when you meet your person, you want to meet your person happy, healthy, enjoying your life, that energy. attracts other positivity your way. So it's all good just to live and love life. And
Yeah, and this is the thing too. When I was talking about the pre-episode, and I was on in the wisdom community, I was talking about, preparing to be a wife. And I was sharing with the audience that for me, and I want you all to chime in too, but I said for me, as we are building on our purpose and, revamping some things in our lives ourselves, I say, how, now I don't know if you all have heard this, but I've heard most men say that they want to be fully established. They'll say they do desire to be married one day, but they too busy working and building, or they're married to their work. And I said, I don't want someone who's always married to their work. I need to be able to have that quality time and be first. Why we can't build together? This is my thing.
Yeah.
Why can't we build together? Now, I know you may have your stuff, I may have my stuff, but I believe that some things may not be complete until we come together. But I hear a lot of men say, well, I just ain't got the time right now. And I'm just like, well, that's something I don't agree with. I don't know how you all feel about it.
No, I agree. I think that someone should make you a priority. Doesn't mean that you're the only priority, but you want someone that cherishes you and cherishes what you have together and willing to put forth that effort. Doesn't mean that all they see and know is you. You don't, that's not healthy. But you want a partnership, and you want someone that has their own identity too.
Exactly.
Right.
But can also be your partner and prioritize and cherish and love you. And as part of loving someone is making them important, making room in your life for them. And that's that person. If they're too busy, then they have no room for you. And so they need to go on, be married to their work then. But I don't know. What do you think, Rachel?
I'm sorry, sweetie. I believe that some of them too, they use that as an example or an excuse not to pursue a relationship because they have areas that they need to heal in. Because after every relationship, we tend to carry baggage to the other one. And we even pick up the other person's baggage. And then it creates chaos. A lot of men out there, they're looking for companionship. They're looking for a wife, but they know they have issues they need to resolve first. Because if you're looking for a long-term relationship, which is marriage at the end, right? You have to be healed from any heartbreak, heartache, whatever it is. Even things that you probably carry on from your childhood. You have to heal from it. Because again, it's going to be a circle that you're going to be into in each and every one of the relationships. And you might even miss out on your perfect soulmate. So, and conversation I've had with men, not necessarily a bit was interested in them or dating, but just, conversation. Some of them have expressed that to me. They rather spend their time building instead of pursuing because they have a gap in between that healing process. That is easier for us, for females, but it's harder for men.
Right.
To even identify and address it. So, a lot of them also just standoffish because they're so beat up. It's not only us that go through things, they do too. Just that it's easier for us to express it.
Yeah.
And then
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm live on the Wisdom app, and so I have a gentleman that wants to come up and share.
All right.
Hi, Theo. Okay. Hi. Well, we are live here on YouTube. So we have 3 ladies here. Well, 2 ladies here with me. I have Crystal and Rachel. And so I'm pretty sure you've been listening to the conversation.
Yes, I've been paying attention.
Also, you must heard something. You must want to share something.
Well,
We're all ears.
yes, I'm waiting. I'm comfortable waiting.
Okay. Thoughts, Crystal and Rachel?
Hey,
Go ahead, Rachel.
huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, what was the question, girl?
No, I was saying any thoughts in what he said. Well, he was actually answering.
I didn't hear
Um.
anything, sweetie.
Oh, y'all didn't get to hear?
No, I didn't.
Oh, oops. I'm so sorry. I had it on speaker. I don't know why. Oh, so y'all didn't hear anything he said.
Mm-mm.
I think my Bluetooth is on. I'm sorry, Theo. Can y'all
I,
hear him
I,
now?
Yeah,
I
we
thought,
heard you. We just couldn't hear Theo. Can you
uh-huh.
summarize? So can you summarize his question?
Yeah, that'll work.
So, okay, I think it's hooked. I'm sorry, Theo, just hold on. I think it keeps hooking to my Bluetooth. So I'm just gonna turn it off. Yeah, that's what it's doing. But basically he was responding to, yeah, the Bluetooth was, let me turn it off. Okay, Theo, can you hear? Can you say something?
Yeah.
Can you hear him now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Theo. Can you just summarize it a little bit for Rachel and Crystal?
Can't hear. Can you hear? I can hear.
I can't hear him. Karen, is he talking?
He is.
Oh, I don't think we can hear him. I can't hear him.
You can't hear him anymore? I don't know. I have it on. I don't know. Maybe something is. I'm sorry. Maybe something is going on, but okay. Well, I could just summarize it for him. I don't know. I took the Bluetooth off, but maybe Wisdom is acting a little funky. But Theo was saying that he was basically trying to say that, just because, men are saying that they don't have the time doesn't mean they don't have the time for us per se. He was saying that it's not enough time in a day. What they're saying is not enough time in a day for them to get everything that they need to get done. But he said we are sometimes such in a rush and we'd be like, okay, on to the next. When in reality, instead of asking that question, well, or waiting for them to say, well, is there a better time, or is there a better time, or so forth. He said it doesn't mean that they don't have time for us per se. But and I get what you were saying too, Theo. But I guess I'm just speaking from just a little bit of experience. Like, well, I can't really say that. I'm just going to say I've been hearing men from the background. That's what I'm just going to say. I've been hearing different types of interviews, and I know that one gentleman was like, he just don't have the quality. He said he know that some women want quality time, and he just didn't have the quality time for a woman right now.
I get what Theo's saying, but from my personal experience too, I really wanted a relationship with someone, but I really only saw them once every 3 or 4 months because of their work schedule. And so that's extreme to me. Like once every 3 or 4 months to really have a few hours with you, can't really build anything on that. But I get what he's saying is you can't just be quick and just make that. You have to kind of try to work with someone. But I was coming from an experience of like, we beat that horse dead on trying to work it out. And, and then it just didn't work out. What do you think, Rachel?
Well, I mean, if it's me, and I respect the opinion, if you're not in it, don't go in it. If for example, right now, I'm not really into starting the dating yet. So I'm not going to put myself out there to waste nobody's time because I'm not going to give it the quality time it requires.
I see. And you know what? And maybe that's what Theo was pretty much saying too. Like a man knows that a woman needs that attention and quality time. So if they can't give it, they're saying, why would I do this to them if I can't give them time? So I definitely understand what he's saying. Just like you said, Rachel, like you said, you're not ready. So why go out and try to build some type of friendship when you're not going to have the time to build it. So I guess for me, that was my thing. I can't get so upset of the fact of if somebody does tell me, well, Karen, I don't have the time right now. I can't get upset because they're telling me the truth. They're not telling me.
Exactly. True. And I'm fine with it. Be straight up, speak up, say the truth. I'm fine with it. And I love when they do that.
Yeah, me too.
I love it. I never get upset when they tell me the truth.
No, truth, even when you don't want to hear it, I respect it.
Yes.
Someone giving it.
And I take my hat off when they do so. Because again, we are grown people. We're already past the stages of teenage, we know what we want.
Right.
You're in that stage now. I'm not, if I don't have the time to spend with or give that person quality, I don't know what would be their quality time, because for me, quality could be something different to the other person.
Right. Good point. Yeah. You have to talk about it.
Yes, that's something that has to be spoken. But if I don't, I just stay aside and that's it. I stay out of the game.
And that's the thing too. Like if you're telling me that you don't have the time, still don't expect me to stand still and wait. you know what I'm saying? Wait and just weed out all other options. Well, I'm gonna just sit around and figure out when this person is going to be ready. So I guess that's my thing. That's something that, like I said, that, even women and men should understand. If someone is telling you the truth up front, and then you have all the means to know that that person told you, and put your big pants on and walk away or say, hey, nice meeting you, nice talking to you or whatnot.
Yeah.
And, you know, it can just be as nice as that.
And it could be just as nice as a great friendship.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you never know what could
I
happen.
got a question for Karen.
Can y'all hear Theo now?
Yeah, I heard him.
I
Okay,
heard
what's
it.
the question, Theo?
Okay, so for the young lady who said that they that relationship they were in, or they were trying to build a relationship, but they could only see the other person every so often. My question is, before you got into that, was there a conversation to see what was one, the angle, to what you both needed? And was there a conversation as a clear cut conversation as to, hey, this is what I need for me to be considered to be in a relationship. This is what I need to feel loved, seen, heard, and understood. And if he would have said, hey, I can only see you a couple hours a month or a couple hours every 2 weeks, did you know yourself well enough to say, you know what, that's not enough for me. I appreciate your honesty, but let's move on to whatever else? Or was there no conversation? You just liked him and he liked you, and you guys were like, let's just try to make it work.
Crystal?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And yes, there were several conversations, but I think what made this particular experience unique is that most of the dating relationship happened during the pandemic where no one was seeing anyone. So I think that's coming out of the pandemic. Those conversations were had, and a lot of time was spent. Okay, well, maybe we can work this out. Or are you willing to have a FaceTime relationship, mainly seeing me over FaceTime every day? And will that be enough for now? And so there was some kind of compromise of, well, we'll try it. I'm willing to try, but I would really like this. So coming out of the pandemic, and dating during the pandemic was a unique relationship. So as we came out, it was a compromise, but it was also a learning and growth of what will work for me and what I need and what I don't need. It can just communicating that, which that to me, that's the healthiest, most honest way to do it, is try to compromise, but know your own needs, right? You're right. You have to know yourself and be strong enough to communicate that. And so working through that experience, I understood really what I needed as far as time from someone else and what I was willing to put in and what I kind of wanted reciprocated. So I hope that answers your question.
It did. Thank you so much for deep diving into that. I guess to your point, though, there is a certain context that we miss as men and women, is that sometimes what we think we need isn't really what we need, it's what we assume that we need because it's what society tells us that we need, or whatever books we grew up reading or movies we grew up watching. And that builds a catalog of what we think a healthy or love or any of that relationship stuff looks like. And then we get into a situation or we find someone, and then now we're trying to put all of these expectations, unspoken expectation on them because we truly don't know what we need. So we're trying to throw whatever and see what sticks. But then in the end, there's this resentment that builds because we don't want to have resentment for ourselves. So we start to hold the other person responsible for our actions. Right. That is the most dangerous place when you have held somebody captive because of your expectations. Right. So I appreciate you deep diving into that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the question.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Thanks, Theo and Crystal, for that conversation. Yeah, definitely. It was something, I'm glad that you said that, Theo, because it was something similar that I was talking about to on my it might have been on my Monday or Tuesday live this week, but I was saying that sometimes we perceive and put so many perspectives on somebody else, and we
Right.
expect them to feel and do what we want them to do, when in reality, we are two different people.
Right.
And I was
Yeah.
making an example of about, hey, if there was somebody in need and I just felt the sense to give that person a hug, and if my significant other didn't give them a hug, or I felt like they didn't show enough compassion like they should have showed. They may have compassion, they just may not show it the way that you show it. And that's something that I had to understand and learn myself.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Just because somebody doesn't love the way you think they should, doesn't mean that they don't love with all they have. And it's just,
Right.
yeah, expectations, nothing wrong with them if they're communicated very well. But to me, that's been the biggest damper on my own happiness, is having expectations that I'm not even aware that I have. So yeah, knowing yourself, understanding yourself before you even bring somebody else into the picture, I think is the best thing.
Yes,
Thoughts,
that is
Rachel?
so true. Ooh. I agree with the person that was Theo.
Theo.
I agree with what he said. I got to a point, and he says something. We put that so much expectation on another person.
Yeah.
And it's true. I did that. I've been there.
Mhm.
So it came to a point where I understood that it wasn't necessarily the other person, it was me. Because what we are looking for, me, I'm not looking for a person just like me. That's not going to happen. I want somebody that compliments me, that we have our differences, but at the same time, we blend in together so nice that we can enjoy life, right?
Mhm.
So at some point, I had to just step back and regroup myself. Sometimes we need to do that self-check from time to time to find certain things that we might not see at the time, but then when we start doing that self-check, you find out and you can fix it, right? Before you start again in the dating scene. So that's how I do it. That's how I do it. I take my breaks in between, especially when it's not going, if it's not going as expected, I take a break. Let's see what's going on with Rachel. Maybe something's going on with me. Who knows? So I always give myself that break to just regroup and build another strategy. And I'm not saying a strategy like to be deceitful, but a strategy that will work better, because maybe what I've been doing is not working for me, right? And I'm going around in circles.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you guys said it. We are here to live life. Tomorrow's not promised.
That's right.
And I don't want to be going around in that mountain season after season doing the same thing and getting nowhere. Because I might die in the desert.
That's true.
So it comes a point where, I have to get myself together and see what's going on. Give myself a break. So I'll be back. I said, I'm regrouping.
So let's hear Theo. So let me ask you a question. Let's hear your perspective. So are you single or are you married?
So I am married.
Okay. So what's your perspective? I know me, Rachel, and Crystal are single. I know Crystal has been married before, but now she's single again. Let me just bring him up. So we just want to know your perspective as the key to what was it like? Okay, let me ask you this. What was it like finding your soulmate?
So that's a good question. Okay. So I don't necessarily subscribe to the whole soulmate idea. I used to.
Okay.
I
Okay.
used to.
So we got to ask about that too.
Yeah, and I'll explain in a minute. It's never. And so when me and my wife got together about 13 years ago, she gave me her MySpace book or MySpace account. So that's how long MySpace
Wow.
back in the day.
Yeah.
So she hit me with, she gave her number. And we just kept in contact. And the more we talked, the more. And so over time, we moved from relationship to a relationship, and then that's how we ended up together. But to my subscription of the soulmate idea, I used to think that we all have a soulmate, but the more I studied myself and the more I studied what just the human principles and just not spirituality principles, but the more I got to understand how things work and how love works in a way, or how men and women communicate, and I really got to a point where I said, "Oh, your soulmate is you," because our soulmate is who we see in the mirror. That's literally our soulmate. Wow. Because the fact that we believe that there is another part of us out there somewhere. Now, if you believe it, hey, that's cool. If you haven't, maybe I haven't had the same experience as you to be able to say, hey, okay, I get it. But when I could truly say, I love myself, when I could look at myself in the mirror and says, hey, Theo, I love you, man. I appreciate you. I see you. I hear you. I understand you. I love you. Mm-hmm. Like, I felt whole at that point. I didn't need somebody else to tell me that. I didn't need somebody else to believe me. The lie, it's like a Theo's opinion, but the lie that we have grown up with is watching the Disney movies and the romantic movies that tell us that, hey, you complete me. Like, I get the thought behind it, but the simple fact that when we were created whole. So how do we need another human to complete us when we are already complete? But we become incomplete when we start giving parts of us to other people, parts of us to society, parts of us to whatever, and we lose ourselves. So now we're looking for somebody else to fulfill those parts that we have lost, versus actually regaining that identity, regaining that wholeness. Because if we believe this principle to be true, love your neighbor as you love yourself. No, I don't want you to love me. Like, if you're my neighbor, I don't want you to love me because I see how people love themselves, and I don't want that. Most people don't like themselves. Most people don't love themselves. So I don't want you to love me the way that you love yourself, because I know for a fact that those people don't love themselves the way that I want to be loved. So I gotta do the work and internally heal and come back together as whole in order for me to truly say, I love myself. If I can truly love myself, then I can love you or whoever to the max.
Right.
Because I understand what that feels like. But some of us are trying to give out the love that we don't even know what that feels like. We're trying to give people what we've never had. And how can you do that? Mm-hmm. Because it's trying to describe what pizza tastes like to somebody who has never eaten pizza or knows what pizza is. Mm-hmm. Because truly, pizza, if you describe pizza to somebody, they will say, ew, that's gross.
Right.
Cheese and bread and sauce on soggy bread, like, that's gross. But not until they get a taste of what that feels like or what that tastes like, then can they finally actually compare? So a lot of women, a lot of men, we're out here trying to look for love. We don't know what that looks like. We only know what our parents showed us, and if our parents were jacked up and they get, so they didn't show us what true love felt or looked like.
Mhm.
So we're trying to look for something that we don't know what it looks like. And you can't give what you've never had. So we jump into these relationships and we cause more damage. We do good, but I'll stop there.
That was good.
Yeah,
Yes, that's awesome.
yes,
And
Yes.
that's so true. That's so true.
uh-huh.
Like you just pretty much broke it down in a nutshell.
Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I really, that really resonates with me because I really think that we are spiritual beings in a physical body. So we have a multifaceted presence. And so we are more than one thing in one body. And we do have a mental, emotional, physical, spiritual presence. And to a lot of those pieces in ourselves are broken.
Right.
And we look externally to complete those. And he's right. When you pull yourself together and love
Mhm.
yourself, you
Mhm.
get that experience of what really love is. And you can't give what you don't have. And
Exactly.
that's so true. And
Yes,
I
it
think
is.
as human beings, we have to learn by experience. We have to feel in order to learn. And I think
Mhm.
that's why we have children. You don't have to have children to gain this knowledge, but I never knew unconditional love until I felt it.
Yeah.
It was described to me, but I didn't really understand it until I experienced how that feels. And I think that's just another description of what Theo is saying is, till you know what that feels like, you
Right.
can't describe it. So that's really profound. And I completely can see his perspective. And thank you for sharing that.
Yes, thank you.
Powerful. One word for me.
Powerful.
Powerful.
It really was. It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, did anybody have any more questions? I want to give people, if there's any other guests on Wisdom that would like to come up or YouTube or whatever, or you just have any questions, I pretty much want to open up the floor as well in case anybody else have any questions. Anything, Crystal or Rachel, that you would like to touch on, or any advice or tips or anything? And we also have part 2 on the 28th too, you all, just so everybody knows.
Tips. Yes, I just see you smiling, Karen. Oh Lord. Oh my. Well, I stay planted on what I said. If you're not going to invest time in something, don't get into it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't waste people's time. We don't. That's precious. That's
Yes,
precious. We don't have no time to waste time.
that's good.
Mhm.
So if you have that conversation, just like Theo said, don't put expectations on other people, or unspoken expectations. Have conversations and get to find out different things, and always give leave a space for error, because we are not perfect.
Right. Right.
We all make mistakes.
I'm sorry.
And if we are pursuing a relationship or whatever it is we're pursuing, marriage or just companionship. You know, some people don't want to get married. They just want to have someone, you know, to have a time to probably go walk in the park, do exercise, whatever it is, you know.
It's true.
But, you know, just have those conversations, be truthful,
Yes.
know what you want, right? And let time say, because sometimes time will tell. You don't
That's
have to
right.
rush
Time will tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Thanks,
that's
Rachel.
me. I stand firm on that.
Okay. Crystal.
Well, like you said earlier, it's okay to wait patiently, but I say live while you're doing it. I say
Yes.
live your life.
That's right.
Live your life in a place of peace, health, and gratitude.
Yeah.
A lot of people look and focus on what they want, what they don't have yet. But when you enter a state of being grateful for what you do have, I really think that it attracts so much more positivity in your
Yes.
everyday life. So
Yes, yes, and yes.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much,
Invest
Crystal.
time,
thank you.
right, Crystal, and invest time in yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yes.
you can't give time to somebody else if you're not giving yourself some time.
Right.
Auto examine yourself, and you know, do that check. It don't have to be every day, but you know, in a period of time, check yourself and see what's going on with yourself. Have those conversations with self, and you know, things will flow. Things will get better. If you have to heal, heal. Don't bring those baggages to something you're pursuing. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. That's it.
That's good.
Simple as that.
That's good. Thanks so much, Rachel and Crystal, and everybody that tuned in. We had 75 or more people that tuned in on Wisdom. So we will have part 2. Thanks, Theo, so much. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna
thank you.
follow you. Thanks so much, Theo. Definitely would love to have you back on part 2 if time persists, but we will have part 2 on the Stay True podcast on September the 28th, and we will do 7 p.m. Eastern time. So adhere to your Eastern time zone. I hope that all of the conversations, I hope that something really hit home for singles. And just relate, just not just romantic relationships, but we're talking about family relationships and friendships, you know, all types of relationships. Because, you know, love is, you know, the ultimate win. So thank you, Crystal and Rachel, so much for taking
You're
time out of your
welcome.
busy
Thank
schedule
you.
to come. If time persists, we would love to have you back. On the 28th, we also will have some relationship coaches coming on the 28th. They couldn't be here on part 1, but we have more people come in just to give more advice and tips and just have real conversations like we just had about relationships, because like we said, we know love wins. We just gotta make sure that we're in it to win it, like you guys said.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you for coming on the Stay True podcast.
Nice meeting you, Crystal.
We will talk soon. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. And
You too.
and if you need this segment, if you want to share this segment out, I can send it to you by email.
Right. Cool.
Okay.
You know me. I'm in the supporting business.
Okay. All right. Thank y'all. Later.
All right. Take care,
Bye.
girls. Love y'all.
Love you too.